Well, I am a director of photography, and I studied film at San Francisco State and graduated there in '89. And yeah, so then I've been doing it ever since. Yes, I graduated in '89, and I had about $1,200 in my pocket, and loaded up my car and drove down to LA and tried to make my way. About 2 weeks later, I got hired at Panavision Hollywood and got into a 2-year internship there and learned a lot about cameras and lenses. And the great place, the good thing about working in a place like that is you get to meet a lot of people and a lot of networking. So at the end of my 2-year internship, I had you know, a book full of, numbers and all that kind of stuff, and just started calling people and worked for free on the weekends or just did whatever I could to get on set, basically. And having 2 years of hands-on technical experience made me, I think, kind of valuable. If something broke, I could fix it or whatever. Or if something needed to be ordered, I was ordering the right piece of equipment and all that. So, yeah. Well, I think if the one thing that it does is it makes you resourceful. And I think as a filmmaker or whatever profession, I think you always have to be resourceful, and a lot of it is problem solving. If the problem is hunger, or if it's trying to find a camera or find whatever, you're going to find ways to try to make that work. And I don't think that ever leaves you. I could be on a $50,000 movie or $500 million movie, and you still always have to be resourceful. Well, like I said, I had a lot of names, a lot of numbers, had a lot of contacts. So I spent a lot of time on the phone, and networking is a huge thing that you are going to be doing forever. Um, People are not always going to be knocking on your door or calling you. It's really up to you to reach out and keep in contact with people and find out what they're doing, what's going on, just, being social. I think one of the first big films I worked on a Danny DeVito film called Matilda. And I came in and I was doing extra camera. I was loading. I was kind of doing whatever. There was about a 4-person crew on that camera crew, and oftentimes they would have extra camera or something, and I would come in and help on that. So, and I worked on that probably for about almost 4 months, I think. That's a good question. I have a really kind of a funny story, um, and I don't know how it all sort of was going to evolve. But I remember, I think I was about in 5th grade, and we had some free time at the library, and I was at the library in school, and I'm looking through, all the different subjects and topics and all that kind of stuff. And I see this little brown covered book, and it says like motion picture or movies or something like that. And being, a little, I mean, growing up in the 60s and 70s, we watched a lot of TV, and watched a lot of monster movies, and I enjoyed watching movies. So I picked up this book and I start thumbing through it, and I see this old photo. I guess it wasn't too old of a photo at the time, but it's a black and white photo, and they're shooting, Wizard of Oz or something, and there's this big, huge camera on a dolly, and there's this big set, and you see like the big lights and all that kind of stuff, and the guy sitting on the, and I see this picture and I said, that's what I want to do. Well, I would never say that CGI is never better or worse. I mean, it can definitely, you know, obviously do a lot of great things. I think it's a discipline that needs to still, there's a lot of prep work when you do stuff like that. There's a lot of planning and oddly enough, it's like, I kind of think that the shooting's the easy part, you know, thinking about camera movement and light and matching lighting and all that kind of stuff. It's really kind of complicated, you know. Everybody thinks, oh, just stick them on a green screen and here, do some stuff and we'll just throw something in later. Well, that doesn't always work. And you can tell when it's not done right, it doesn't look right. I'm not going to say bad, but it doesn't look like either, you know, they didn't take the time to prep it right. But I mean, it's a great tool. You know, it can do things that we can't do practically, and yeah, it's definitely has its place. No, 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 not at all. No, the actors are, you know, that's primarily what people go to see. You know, I mean, um, they're the ones telling your story. You know, you're helping them. You're putting them in the environment to tell their story. You know, some people have great ability, and to be able to tell a story and to share an emotion or to express a feeling or a situation is not easy. You know, it's they deserve every penny, and you know, to have a 100-page script and to sit there and, you know, do a scene for 1 or 2 minutes and then have the director change something in the middle and to remember that, and then if it doesn't work, to go back to what you were doing before. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I give them all the respect in the world. I think that if you're going to get into this industry, I think you need to, again, like I was saying, understand the basics of sound, understand the basics of editing, camera work, acting, makeup. You know, it's good to be in everybody's shoes at least one day on set, and kind of understand what it takes to make it all work, because it's a team effort.
We can spell difficulty.
You couldn't spell difficulty if your life depended on it.
20 years ago, we could turn the numbers back by hand. But here, take my hat.